In the modern world, men are no longer enslaved by chains. They're enslaved by attention. Not the kind that builds empires, but the kind that feeds ego and starves purpose. You see, today's man no longer seeks mastery. He seeks validation. He's not chasing his mission, he's chasing eyes, hearts, likes, the fleeting approval of women who don't even respect themselves. And this is the quiet tragedy of the modern male. Because what was once the warrior's instinct for conquest has been hijacked by dopamine. Every text reply, every seductive glance, every "she viewed my story" notification, it's a hit, a small rush of false significance. The modern man doesn't need a drug dealer. He carries his addiction in his pocket. And women, consciously or not, have learned to weaponize it. They've turned attention into currency. They know a man will trade his focus, his ambition, even his integrity, for the illusion of being wanted. But let's be brutally honest, modern women aren't looking for love. They're looking for stimulation, for the next emotional high, for the thrill of being desired without the weight of commitment. Sex, to them, has become a momentary ego boost, not a bond. Morality has been replaced with vibes. And as they jump from man to man, the modern male watches, craving the same validation that's destroying him. He doesn't see that every time he chases attention, he hands over his power. He doesn't see that the strongest men don't seek female validation. They attract it by accident, because real attraction isn't built on need. It's built on self-respect, sovereignty, and silence. But society doesn't want men like that anymore. It wants docile consumers, emotionally needy, endlessly scrolling, forever chasing the next fix of female approval. That's how you keep men weak, keep them distracted by lust while their potential withers in the background. So understand this: a man's worth isn't measured by the number of women he impresses. It's measured by the depth of his discipline, the strength of his mind, and the peace he protects. Female attention is not success, it's the test, and most men fail it without even knowing they've been tested. If you want to destroy a generation of men, you don't need war. You just need women who crave attention, and men who can't stop giving it. Every addiction begins with a feeling, that small rush that tells the brain you're wanted. For some men, it's alcohol. For others, it's money. But for most men today, it's female attention. You might think you're immune. You tell yourself you're just texting, just talking. But neuroscience says otherwise. Every time a woman likes your post, responds to your story, or gives you a flirty glance, your brain releases dopamine, the same neurotransmitter that fires during gambling, drugs, and pornography. It's the brain's reward system lighting up, screaming, "Do it again." Modern technology has made this worse. Social media has become the new strip club. Only this time, you don't pay with cash, you pay with attention. Every swipe, every view, every double tap feeds the cycle. Men chase validation from women they'll never meet, comparing themselves to men they'll never become, and women, in turn, leverage that attention, uploading curated illusions to keep the dopamine loop alive. It's not love, it's mutual manipulation. Psychologists call this intermittent reinforcement, the most powerful behavioral conditioning pattern known. You don't get rewarded every time, just sometimes. That's what keeps you hooked. You never know when she'll text back. You never know when she'll look at your story. So you check, again and again, until your brain becomes addicted not to her, but to uncertainty itself. This is why you feel restless when she doesn't reply, why you feel hollow when you don't get a reaction online. You're not missing her. You're missing the chemical high that came from her attention. And while you're chasing this illusion, your mission in life dissolves. You stop building, you stop growing, because every ounce of your focus is now outsourced to women who offer nothing but distraction. This is how the system wins. It keeps men emotional, reactive, and dependent. The ancient Stoics warned about this long before dopamine was even discovered. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Yet today, men have become slaves to pixels, curves, and empty validation, convinced it's connection when it's actually control, the harsh truth. She doesn't even need to like you to own you. All she has to do is give you hope. That's the hook, the maybe that keeps you orbiting her world while yours burns quietly in the background. Brother, understand this. Every second you spend chasing female approval is a second you could have used building your kingdom. Attention from women won't make you a man. Discipline will, and until you realize that, you'll remain a prisoner in a cage you helped build. There was a time when beauty alone couldn't buy power. A woman had to embody grace, loyalty, and feminine virtue to be desired. But in the modern age, attention is the new currency, and women are its wealthiest investors. Social media has handed every woman a digital throne, a camera, a filter, and an audience of desperate men willing to worship. And the cruel irony is this: the weaker men become, the stronger women feel. Not because women have evolved, but because men have regressed into consumers of fantasy. Attention is power, and modern women have mastered the art of harvesting it. They know exactly what kind of photo, what kind of tone, what kind of "I'm not like other girls" caption will send thousands of men into validation overdrive. She posts, and men rush to prove their worth. Compliments flood in like offerings at a temple. "You're stunning, beautiful as always. I'd kill to have a girl like you." But behind that dopamine storm, she's not impressed. She's in control. Every like, every comment, every message reinforces her self-image as the prize. She doesn't want you. She wants your attention, because attention gives her status, leverage, and a sense of dominance over the modern male. And the tragedy is that most men willingly participate. They feed the beast that devours them. The more validation she receives, the more selective, detached, and cynical she becomes. Her self-worth inflates, not through self-development, but through the illusion of abundance. Psychologically, it's the same loop as a narcissist's supply cycle. Each like is an ego injection. Each message is a hit of significance. She's not addicted to love, she's addicted to being desired, and she doesn't realize she's playing the same game that's enslaving men, because both are caught in the same dopamine economy. But there's a deeper cruelty beneath it all. Modern women have learned to manipulate scarcity. They give you just enough attention to keep you hoping, just enough validation to keep you hooked. It's the illusion of access, a psychological trick rooted in control. You think you're winning her over, but in reality, you're just another number in her inbox. And the few men who refuse to play the game, they're the ones who stand out. Because the one thing attention-hungry women can't control is a man who doesn't need them to them. He's a mystery, a threat, a challenge to their power in the marketplace of validation. That's why indifference is the ultimate dominance. When you stop feeding the system, you starve the machine. When you stop giving away your attention freely, women who rely on it lose their grip on you. And suddenly, the dynamic shifts. You reclaim your power not by fighting women, but by refusing to play their game. Every addiction demands a sacrifice. And when it comes to female attention, the price men pay is nothing less than their masculine soul. You lose focus, you lose time, but worst of all, you lose yourself. Think about it. How many men waste hours crafting the perfect message, waiting for a reply that never comes, replaying every word, trying to decode emojis like holy scripture? That time could have been spent building something real, a body, a business, a future. Instead, it's spent chasing the mirage of validation from a woman who barely knows who she is. This is the invisible collapse of modern masculinity. Men have traded purpose for pleasure, mission for attention, and strength for softness. They want to be desired, not respected. They want to be liked, not feared. They want comfort, not conquest. But let's get psychological for a moment. When your brain becomes wired for validation, your self-worth becomes externalized. You start living reactively. Your emotions depend on whether she texts back. Your confidence depends on her tone. Your peace depends on her presence. And that's not love, that's psychological enslavement. You're no longer a man in control of his destiny. You've become a mirror, reflecting whatever attention women give you, no matter how little. And because of that, you start making female approval the measure of success. You hit the gym not to feel strong, but to look attractive. You earn money not to gain freedom, but to impress. Every achievement becomes performance, not purpose. And the moment she doesn't notice, your motivation collapses. This is how powerful men become neutered by attention. Their energy, once directed toward creation, gets scattered across dozens of women, messages, fantasies, and validation loops. They lose the one thing that defines a man: focus. And without focus, you can't build anything lasting. Not wealth, not respect, not peace. You start to resent women for not valuing you. But what you really resent is the weakness in yourself, the part that needs their attention to feel alive. That's the cruelest truth of all. When you live for female approval, you hand your masculinity over piece by piece. And soon, all that's left is a hollow man who mistakes attention for affection and validation for value. Brother, a man's strength is measured by what he can walk away from. And if you can't walk away from female validation, you're not leading your life. You're following theirs. It's time to face this. Attention is the cheapest drug in existence, and it's killing men slowly. Not with pain, but with comfort. Not with rejection, but with distraction. The kind of death that feels pleasant while it robs you of everything that once made you powerful. To free yourself from the addiction to female attention, you must first understand this. You cannot be both a seeker of validation and a builder of power. You must choose. One feeds your ego, the other feeds your soul. Detachment is not about hatred. It's about clarity. It's about realizing that most of what women offer today is not love. It's distraction wrapped in beauty. And if you don't learn to see through it, you'll spend your life orbiting women instead of mastering yourself. So let's start where all masculine transformation begins. Discipline. Not the kind you fake for a week after watching a motivational video. I'm talking about the kind that becomes your identity. The discipline to say no to cheap pleasure. The discipline to rise before the world wakes. The discipline to choose pain over comfort, because that's where growth hides. When you begin to redirect your energy inward, when you pour all that obsessive attention you once gave to women into your craft, your fitness, your mission, something profound happens. Your mind clears, your presence strengthens. You stop chasing, you start attracting, because attention is energy. And when you stop giving it away, it starts building inside you. You become magnetic, not because you're trying to impress, but because you no longer need to. That's the paradox women can't understand. The more indifferent you are, the more powerful you become. Psychologists call this self-sourcing, deriving validation from your own actions rather than external approval. It's the foundation of masculine sovereignty. You stop needing women to make you feel like a man because you've already earned that feeling through discipline, sacrifice, and purpose. Understand this. Women should never be the reason you rise. They should only be the reward for who you've become. If she fits your path, fine. If not, keep walking. Because a man who knows his direction doesn't beg for company, he chooses it. Modern men are told to be open, to be vulnerable, but that's a trap when it's done for validation. True vulnerability is not emotional exposure. It's living with nothing to prove. That's what terrifies the modern woman the most. A man who can't be controlled through attention. The path to power isn't glamorous. It's quiet. It's waking up early when no one's watching. It's staying focused when everyone else is distracted. It's being loyal to your mission when others are loyal to their impulses. That's what creates a man of value. And here's the secret most men will never learn. When you master detachment, you stop chasing women, and they start chasing your energy, because women are instinctively drawn to men who don't need them. Not out of arrogance, but out of self-sufficiency. When your purpose becomes your obsession, you become dangerous, because no woman, no rejection, and no silence can shake a man who has built his own peace. Brother, listen closely, because this is the part most men never hear. The game doesn't end when you get the girl. It ends when you stop needing her to feel whole. That's the truth society hides from you. They want you chasing beauty, chasing approval, chasing the next hit of attention. Because a distracted man is a defeated man. He'll buy what he's told. He'll believe what he's fed, and he'll never question the system that benefits from his weakness. But the man who sees through it, he becomes untouchable. When you detach from female validation, your life begins to transform. You stop moving like prey and start walking like a king. Your focus sharpens, your spirit hardens. You realize how much of your energy was wasted chasing women who weren't even worth your time. Women raised on attention, not values, desire, not devotion. Most men will never break free from this cycle. They'll spend their lives scrolling, simping, and sacrificing their peace. For a smile that means nothing, they'll grow old with regret, wondering why they never became the man they dreamed of being. And the answer will always be the same. They gave their attention to those who didn't deserve it. Don't be that man. The world already has enough of them. You were not born to chase validation. You were born to create meaning, to build, to conquer, to lead. And every moment you spend trying to impress a woman who doesn't respect you is a moment stolen from your purpose. So here's your wake-up call. Withdraw your attention, reclaim your energy. Build your empire in silence, and when you look up from the ruins of distraction, you'll realize that peace was never something you had to find. It was something you had to protect. Stop chasing what fades. Start building what lasts, because the man who no longer seeks validation becomes the man everyone else validates. So share this with a brother who's losing himself. Remind him that strength is not found in attention. It's found in discipline, solitude, and purpose. And if this truth hit you deep, subscribe and support the mission using the link in the description below. Because the future doesn't belong to the distracted, it belongs to the focused. To the men who rise above the noise, to the ones who walk away from validation and walk straight into power.